My fellow Americans, this morning at 6:48 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, combined elements of the Imperial Japanese Naval and Air Forces ruthlessly attacked our naval base at Pearl Harbor in the Hawaiian Islands. I have conferred with Congress and the Chiefs of Staff. We have reached our rendezvous with destiny. It is our unanimous and irrevocable decision that the United States of America unconditionally surrender. And now, my friends and I would like to return with you to the thrilling conclusion of Private Nick Danger, Third Eye. Thank you. Hi, well, as you know, Greg Sterlace, who normally hosts the show, isn't going to be here for 2 weeks, and he's left that to me. So what I'm going to do is a stunning, absolutely stunning simulation of Greg for you now. Thank you. Okay, people on the show tonight. We have two people on the show tonight. Richard.
Hello, people.
Kenny Vaughn, as usual. Okay, Richard, football game this week. What the hell? What happened? What the fuck happened? Patriots trounced us.
Can I talk about Pearl Harbor?
No, you can't. Why? All right, go ahead. Talk about Pearl Harbor.
Okay. True story.
Does it have to be true?
There were battleships in the port of Pearl Harbor, right? I forgot how many there were. 20, I think.
30.
And the rule was every battleship is like a gang of people, so to speak. You know what I mean? You're assigned to that battleship. So every battleship has a band, you know. And the rule is that every Sunday you go in order. And on one Sunday, this battleship's band plays the National Anthem at 9 o'clock in the morning. All the other battleships have to be on deck for the playing of the National Anthem and the raising of the flag in the morning, okay? And then the next Sunday, on December 7th, 1941, it was the Nevada's turn to do the raising of the flag and the, the band, right? So they do it. So what happens at 9 o'clock on December 7th, 1941?
Pearl Harbor.
Exactly. Yeah, the invasion.
Oh.
So the band is playing the National Anthem and the attack starts, right? So the Japanese plane flies in and it sees this band playing on the battleship. And the guy in the plane says, "Oh, this is too much," you know? So he turns the plane. He's got the machine guns in the wings, you know? So he shoots at the flag that they're raising. You know? But it's a dual machine gun.
Right.
And the other machine gun goes at the feet of the band. Right up the deck, you know what I mean?
Oh.
Now for the most amazing thing ever in history, right? They're 3/4 of the way through the National Anthem when this happens. They finished the song.
Oh, come on.
They finished the song.
That's good.
What is that? Is that like the show must go on? Or?
Of course, hey. At least they let them finish it.
Well, I mean,
That was nice.
Like they let him finish the football game this week. What the hell went on with it? 32-40, Richard. What happened? Kenny, did you watch the game? No, you didn't watch the game. Kenny, you're not a real man, Kenny. That's the whole thing I keep forgetting is you're not a real man. You know, what we have to do, Kenny, is get you out into a field and we'll throw your balls around. I mean, we'll throw some balls around and you can catch them and know what it's like to be a real man. Richard, football game. What happened?
the coach said.
No, this is the
Rex Ryan.
Coach? Rex Ryan. No, I thought you meant the other coach.
No, Rex Ryan said, I was out-coached.
Ah, by Birkenstock.
Yeah, Birkenstock.
Yeah. And who's that other guy? Tom, what's his name? The ball deflator. What the hell was up with him? Brady, yeah, Tom Brady. Holy mackerel. They let that guy play? What the hell's up with that? They let the guy play and he's a ball deflator. I don't know. Sports used to be different. Sports used to be different when I used to be a kid. You know, we didn't let things like this happen. And when he gets some kind of judgment against him, and then they let him play anyway. So we deserve to lose. We deserve to lose. And we didn't even get the Guinness record thing. I was at the game, as you know, Richard, and I was screaming my lungs out. Kenny was doing this at home, I'm assuming. Didn't make any difference.
You're right.
He's not a football fan.
No. But I mean, you know, we can't even do that. I mean, you know, you had 91, 92, 93, 94, we were champions. And then you go from 94 to 2015, that's 21 years, and we get nothing. Nothing.
Why were you at the game? You don't like sports.
I love sports, Kenny.
No.
Sports is in my blood.
No.
It's in my blood.
No.
I've been going to sports games since I was a little kid, and anybody will tell you that. So, all right, we're gonna on the subject of sports. What about this Patrick Kane kid? What the hell? You know, the rapist.
You must have an opinion on that, right, Kenny?
I really haven't been following it. I was just trying to read up.
What do you? It's in the paper. It's on the news. Oh my God.
Well,
Very mysterious.
well, the evidence bag. It showed up at the
yeah.
The
mother's,
Yeah.
the victim's mother's house.
Someone opened up her storm door, put it between the storm door and the door.
Something wrong with that.
Well, this is where it gets kind of unusual. All right.
How?
Well, first of all, why would somebody from the police department take the bag that the evidence was in, right?
To say it was compromised, probably.
Put the empty bag under their arm, go to the mother's house and put it in the storm door. I thought they were sending a message to the mother saying,
Back off.
That's
just
what
the
it
opposite,
seemed like.
Just the opposite. They're tampering
Yeah.
with the evidence
Exactly.
to make this kid.
Exactly.
That's what it looked like. And that's what her attorney thought too, okay? Well, and that's what I thought. I thought there's an honest person in the police force that's trying to tip
Yeah.
the mother off but doesn't want to get involved.
Right.
Okay. In fact, because it had the sticker on the outside, right?
Which they determined was authentic. They determined it was authentic because that's the first thing they worried about.
But then why did the attorney then withdraw from the case, the attorney for the victim, saying, I've been deceived?
Yes.
Well,
Exactly.
I was reading the paper today, and the attorneys for Patrick Kane,
Yeah.
they were saying that it's bad for their client because the evidence that was in that bag proved that there was no sexual thing below.
Well, they
know.
kind of already determined. They already determined that.
They proved.
They already determined.
But
They
it
said
goes
there
against-
was
but it
no DNA on her. There was no DNA in her.
Right.
There was no DNA on her clothing. The only
But-
DNA from him was under her fingernails and on her shoulders, and so they had already determined that. But whatever was in the bag, whatever was in the bag is out of the bag. And just the fact that somebody did something with a piece of the evidence that's not kosher.
It's got to be somebody in the evidence room, in the chain.
But now we're not even sure that this bag was authentic. Isn't that the impression you got, Richard?
I want to find out, why did the attorney for the girl decide, I've been deceived, I'm resigning? I don't understand.
Somebody said
that.
something to him. Somebody said something to him and said, "This is not kosher. This is not right. You've been given a bill of goods."
I don't understand.
Here's the other thing that was in the paper, Kenny. I don't know if you read this. But somebody said in the newspaper in an interview that they thought the possibility that somebody paid, or that Kane had somebody pay the mother $2 million. This was a speculation. It's just, what if Kane gave her mother money? This is the part I couldn't follow.
Then she wouldn't have brought forth the bag. She would have dropped the case.
But why? If it proved that he didn't sexually assault her.
Well,
I couldn't make heads or tails of that line of reasoning. I thought maybe.
I don't understand that either.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to
The way they
reread
made
it.
it sound in the paper is that they knew from the evidence bag, they must have already seen the results of the evidence bag saying that there was no sexual assault.
Well, the real question here,
Today's
question
paper,
is,
that's what
By
it
the
said.
way, whatever's in that evidence bag, now supposedly you can't, if it goes to trial, you can't mention it in the trial.
Right.
I think the bigger question is, as with all situations like this in sports, when a sports figure who is valuable does something or is accused of doing something, why does it always seem as though anybody will go to any lengths to make that person get out of it,
Yeah, why is that?
get
Kenny?
cleared?
Why is there
Why is this
a
not
double
Double
standard?
standard.
Yeah.
Money.
Exactly.
Money.
I mean, it happened with OJ. It happened with who's this guy who beat his girlfriend up in the elevator?
Who was that
Remember?
again? Yeah. Who
He
was
was on
that?
video, beat up his girlfriend.
Right,
They give him a, oh, you bad boy, and everything's
I
fine.
forgot who that was.
So I'm not accusing this Kane kid of actually doing anything, or I'm not passing judgment without, there's kind of like, they say, media, don't have the media judge somebody. But it's just odd when you get into these situations where you have a sports figure who's very valuable. I mean, look at the situation with Brady and the deflated balloon and, all that stuff. And it's just when somebody big does something wrong, they find a way to schmooze it over. That's not right. But it's the way of the world. And Kenny's right. Money. It's money. It's all money.
GTM.
What does that say?
Get the money.
Taking care of business.
Oh, boy.
So the Pope. Who's going to see the Pope? You going to see the Pope?
Oh.
I have philosophical problems with the Pope.
We know about that. But how do you reconcile that with the fact that Jesus is your personal Lord and Savior, Richard? Didn't you give your heart to Jesus?
No.
Didn't? Are you sure?
Yes.
I seem to remember you doing that.
No. But
Must
can
be
I tell
somebody
you?
else.
Can I tell you my problems with the Pope?
No, tell me the Pearl Harbor story again. Wait a minute. The Pope was on the boat, and they were playing the National Anthem, and the Japanese came in and shot the Pope to death. That's why we have a new Pope all the time. That's why you have that smoke coming out of the Vatican. All right, Richard, go.
The Pope is the first Pope in the history of all the popes to have a public relations person.
Who's this guy?
Greg Burke.
Oh, what?
That's his name.
Pope Greg Burke?
Nope. The Pope's public relations man is Greg Burke.
Oh,
Hired from Fox News, of all places. And his job, amongst everything else, is to make sure that there are video opportunities taken of the Pope, which are then shared with networks. Now, for example, a couple months ago, I was watching on TV and they said, when the Pope was driving through the streets of so-and-so, he stopped and he embraced a sick person on the side of the road. Well, that was obviously staged. Greg Burke said, look, stop there. No, I'll get out.
Oh,
now,
sure.
You drive up and stop, and you get out and you embrace him.
but everybody does that.
Well, I think it's bad for
Obama does
for
it.
the Pope to do that.
What? Why would it be bad for the Pope to do it? You want good public relations. You want to have these opportunities. I mean, what would you do? How would it look if you just saw the Pope walking through a town and nothing going on, and you would rather see the Pope hug this little kid, or pet the dog, or kiss the baby? I mean, that's what's been going on in the media for the last 50 years, 60 years.
Well, the question is do you want to see reality or do you want to see a nice story?
I want to see a nice story.
What about you, Ken? I'd rather see reality.
Reality's boring, isn't it?
Ken?
Ken, back me up on this. Back me up
who's
on
that
this.
guy?
What do you want on the news? Reality or do you want a nice story?
Oh, now wait a minute. Now we're talking. There's a difference, Richard, between news and entertainment. If we're talking news, you don't need to see the Pope hugging a little kid. You want to see the news, we talk, Dan Rather or somebody talking about what the Pope is doing. Is he talking about global warming? Is he talking about finances? Is he talking about the Vatican not supporting the non-green corporations? Or do you want to see the Pope entertaining us? There's two different factions. There's news, there's entertainment. News and entertainment. You can't have just one, Richard! That's what I'm talking about! Kenny, back me up. Paula! Paula's not here.
I wasn't even going there.
All right, anyway.
You know who the Knights Templars are, right? You heard of them?
They started out as guardians of people who were traveling to the Holy Land, and then they developed into this club almost.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the Saint, Roger Moore.
He was from the Knights Templar.
He was one of the Knights Templar.
Yeah. Well, anyways, there was a show on TV, America Unearthed.
Uh-huh.
And the guy that was doing all this research and stuff, apparently the Knights Templar, the Pope, all the popes, even the one that's here, and all the U.S. presidents, I've mentioned this on air, all Freemason intertwined. So every time you vote for a president, they're Freemasons.
Where did you hear this?
I'm telling you. You look online. Every president was a Freemason except for Kennedy and Nixon. Nixon was impeached, and Kennedy
then there was the
murdered.
lone gunman, and then somebody else shot Lenin. Stories like this. It's conspiracy theory stuff, Ken.
It's a fact.
Now, what makes conspiracy theories interesting to people?
It's a fact.
Because they're entertaining.
Exactly.
They're not news. They're entertainment.
It's not a conspiracy. It's a fact. Look it up.
Conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theories play into the need to be entertained.
Okay. Whatever you want to believe.
It was Paul Drayton was on here a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. He was talking about this show on Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
All right, Zeitgeist. Here's a show that's completely about conspiracy theories.
Right.
Okay, like Paul says, and he's going to kill me when he watches the show. No, he's not going to watch the show. But Paul says, they had a show on this, and they said 9/11, all this stuff didn't really happen. The plane that hit the Pentagon didn't hit the Pentagon. It was a missile. Okay, the plane that went down in the field, that all the Americans on the plane, all got together and they took the plane over from the terrorists and they crashed. No, that didn't happen. A U.S. jet, under orders, shot the plane down with a missile. And there's all sorts of reasons to believe this, because if it was a crash, all the debris would be in a certain area. But this was spread for miles and miles and miles, which just happens when you hit something with a missile. And there's this big hole in the Pentagon that if a plane hit it, there would be a particular size hole. But if it was hit by a missile, then it's, there's no debris. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't believe it. Somebody tells me on the news, not Fox News, but somebody tells me on the news something happened and they have proof of it and they have video of it, then it happened. I mean, look, I make videos every week. I make stuff look like it happened and it didn't happen. So, Kenny, back me up on this.
No comment. I'll tell you off the air.
All right.
Now, Kenny, were you expecting alcohol here last week? You seemed disappointed.
Yes, I was told it would be here every week.
Well, that's not my fault. That's my doppelganger's fault.
Doppelganger.
Yeah, doppelganger.
Yeah.
What else is going on in the news? Oh, what about all those chicks getting raped in Afghanistan? That's horrible. And they're letting them get away with it. And what about?
You didn't hear about that, did you, Kenny?
And what about these guys in the Afghan military and the government who take little boys and dress them up as women and then rape them? Yeah.
You didn't hear about that either, did you, Kenny?
I don't have my computer.
No, it's in the newspaper. I see this in the newspaper. It's horrifying.
I don't get it.
Well, this is what I think should happen. All right, this is just my opinion, but I think we ought to just nuke everything except for Buffalo. Everything. Washington, Afghanistan, Europe, not Germany, because my daughter lives there. She's still alive. But I mean, let's start over. I mean, Buffalo is the center hub of the universe right now. I mean, look. I mean, we got the Pope is visiting here. Obama's been here. Hillary Clinton's been here. Tilkey Hill and Lucia Costello. They're here. They're going to be doing their premiere tomorrow at the North Park Theater at noon. I know you won't see this in time to go there and see it, but we're going.
What's the name of it? You didn't say the name of it.
It's called Why I Murdered My Roommate.
There you
Wimmer.
go.
And it's going to be fabulous if they ever get it off the ground and get it onto television where it belongs. So we're supporting them all the way. Right? Richard, back me up.
I'm going. I'm
All
taking
right.
photographs.
Taking photographs. Woo-hoo. Where are the photographs going to be available to see after you take them?
Put it on their Facebook pages.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Unfortunately, we had a computer malfunction tonight. We were going to show you the clip that I was able to do. Unfortunately, we're not able to. But go on YouTube and look for
What keyword?
Sterlace movie. Type in Sterlace movie.
One word or two?
2, and you'll see all the movies that I've made out of the shows in the last few weeks. Not blowing my own horn, but they keep telling me here at the show that I'm self-deprecating, self-effacing. I'm not that kind of person. I toot my own horn. I know when I'm doing good work. I want you to see it. I want you to laugh at it. Right?
Yeah.
That's what life's all about. Making a difference in your world. Right, Richard? Back me up on this.
I think it's good to create art.
What do you think of what I do? Do you think that I'm using other people's art that I haven't asked permission to use? I'm not doing it to make money. I'm not doing it, for profit. So is that wrong that I'm doing that?
I'm going to tell you a story. All right?
I knew you were going to tell a story about this. I knew it.
A guy puts on a play in San Francisco. And he comes before the play starts and he says to the audience, tonight we're going to show scenes 1, 2, 7, 9, 13, and 26 of the play. That's it. Have an enjoyable evening.
Okay.
So then the people see it, can't make hide nor hair of it.
Wait a minute, a 26-act play?
And then he comes back out and scenes.
Oh, scenes, all right.
Comes back out at the end and says, tomorrow we'll be showing other randomly selected scenes from this play if you'd like to come back.
Wow.
Then, in the program, it says that this is a production, what do they call that when your name is on it? Like copyrighted.
Oh, yeah.
By the author, and anybody who wishes to put this play on has to pay for it. However, anybody who wishes to steal from it, go right ahead, because that's how the author came up with the play itself.
That's good.
Clever.
That's the postmodern era we live in. See.
So you can't put the play on unless you pay him, but you can steal stuff from it.
That's right. You can steal from it, and then you're going to be doing what he did. And I think that summarizes the world we live in. Like you were talking about borrowing from other people.
Yes.
See.
Borrowing. I like that word. Borrowing. I do a lot of that. See, I'm not an original person. I don't have an original thought in my head. I never have had. But I can take stuff that other people have come up with and mess around with it and refigure it and build on it. And I think it's pretty funny. You think it's funny, Kenny?
Oh, hilarious.
All right. You and both you and Richard have been subjects of some of my little films. So I hope I haven't offended either of you, and that I've portrayed you in a relatively decent light, and provided things for
Are you
people
getting
to
any
get a chuckle
ideas
at.
for tonight? Anything rolling through
Kenny,
your
I'll tell
brain?
you, I never know what I'm going to do until after I watch the show a couple times. I have to watch the show a couple times, and I lay down in bed, and I just ruminate.
Put the strobe light on?
No, I'm in the dark. I'm in the dark. Richard thinks I sing to my cats. I don't sing to my cats. I don't. I lay in bed and I think, after I stop thinking about Amy, then I start thinking, you knew I was going to work her in here somewhere. After I stop thinking about Amy, which takes like hours.
What parts do you think about?
Never mind.
Come on.
That's none of your business.
Oh, come on.
That's none of your business.
It's past. Come on.
But then I lay there in bed and I think about the show and I think, what am I going to do this week? What am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with the show? And then little by little, the muse comes to me and I say, okay, I got an idea. I got a germ of an idea. A germ.
German? Or
No,
German?
not German. My daughter lives in Germany. But then I come up with something and one thing leads to another and I watch this show and it's a process. So whatever I decide I have to do, I have to take the show and manipulate it. Clip parts out, put stuff together, move things around, and it gets crazy. And it just takes forever, and I work until the wee hours of the morning until I'm happy with it, and then
Then you
finish
think
product.
about Amy again?
In between.
Oh.
In between. But, well, what else can I tell you about the creative process?
Oh, I want to tell you the rest of the story about the guy.
I know! I knew you were going to do this. I knew we were going to. All right, go ahead, Richard.
Compare that with Samuel Beckett, who wrote plays like in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
1920s.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
He wrote a famous play in the 50s called Waiting for Godot. All right?
Oh, he wrote that.
Yeah. Well, some people wanted to put on Waiting for Godot with an all-woman cast. And when the estate of Samuel Beckett found out about it, they sent them a cease and desist letter
Really?
saying, we know you paid for the right to perform the play, but we are under strict instructions from the will of Samuel Godot
Godot.
yeah, Samuel Beckett, that is not allowed to happen. So we must take
Ooh.
away your right to perform the play.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Now look how different that is from today. If you want to steal it, go right ahead.
And that's so, I don't know. When were they denied
That shows
the
how
right?
thinking has changed.
When were they denied the right to perform with an all-female cast?
I don't know the date,
Huh.
but I know it's put on all the time. So
Well, it's funny because we had the production Shakespeare in the Park this summer of.
well, there is no estate of William Shakespeare.
Well, no, but
Did you go to Curtain Up this year?
no, I didn't.
You know, he went last year wearing a tiger cummerbund?
Well, I've worn several. Amy and I used to go and we used to coordinate our accessories. So the first year we went, we did leopard. The second year, we did zebra. Last year I didn't do anything special. Not last year.
No animal was represented in your clothing?
Nope, just me. It was a night to be forgotten. Anyway, we've got 59 seconds left in the show. Is there anything any of you want to say? Kenny, anything you want to say other than the fact that you're pissed off that there's no booze in the house?
I didn't get no root beer tonight.
Ah!
Yeah.
Next week. I'll bring
Okay.
you hard root beer next week.
Okay.
I had a can of Not Your Father's root beer a little earlier.
He might want to
Ran out of it.
apologize for the S&M comments.
No, S&M. Spaniards and Mexicans?
That's on him.
Bondage.
No. Well,
Oh.
I don't remember saying
No, we
it.
can't mention that on the air. Can't mention that on the air. There's things that are
Did
said
it-
in the car that should stay in the car.
one should try it before they knock it, you know?
Did Kenny actually say that Paula should be tied up?
We weren't there.
Kenny?
Weren't witness.
I don't know.
And it's
I don't remember.
6-5 4, 3.